Okay, this is a run that Arkansas uses a lot. This is a pin and pull. They'll do it off a toss, which is what they're going to do here. They'll also do it off of a QB sweep where the toss player usually that gets the ball then becomes the lead blocker. But let's talk about what pin and pull is. You're going to motion somebody down. This person is going to be the pin guy. He's going to pin the end right there. And then you're going to get the puller who's going to get to pull around the end. So a lot of the times I like to use the term down, down, and around, which means down, down, and around. All right, so here we go. He's going to motion in. He pins the end. Here you can see our tackle, or their tackle, I should say. Their tackle is going to pull around the end, and we're just going to get a little toss sweep right here to the running back who's going to follow the tackle. Right? Tackle's going to get up. Here you can see they seal block. And then now it's just leading up here, and the running back is going to follow him. This is a real simple pin and pull. And then as you can see, what they're trying to do is as they seal these edges, we're trying to seal, we're trying to get to the backside backer, we're trying to seal. And then what that does is that's going to put this guy, the safety, being the guy that has to make the play, which they do a good job. That ends up being the guy making the play, right? So that's the pin and pull. Motion a guy down, pin the end, pull the tackle, little toss. Okay, Arkansas is a running football team. That's their main thing that they want to do. They want to establish the run. They also have a quarterback that they use a lot in their run game. With that being said, they're going to utilize some formations that are going to be used in the run game that are a little bit unique, and this is one of them. As you can see, they have a tight end on the line. They also have a receiver on the line. What that does is when you put two people on the line of scrimmage on the same side of the ball, is that's going to now cover up a player to that side, which is that receiver. He becomes ineligible to catch a pass. But they're not utilizing this formation for a pass situation or a pass concept. They're trying to utilize it in their run game. What that does is that frees up this player down here to be able to come in motion. The next thing this does is it's a little bit different. Here they're going to run a jet sweep, okay? They're going to run this little jet sweep, but the normal way that a lot of teams have to run jet sweep is normally there's a player down here to the bottom on the line of scrimmage. You have a player off the line of scrimmage. As you motion him, there's usually a running back that then becomes the lead blocker. Or they'll utilize a flank tight end with a running back to that side. They're always trying to get something to block on the edge, something to lead, and then there's your jet sweep. But what they do because of this formation is now that lead blocker gets to be out on the perimeter, right? Out on that edge already. The other thing that it does is it's going to expand the defense. If you don't have somebody in that slot position and you widen the receiver for a corner, right now you're either going to have safety rotation on the fly sweep. You can have a backer that steps up where they bump because they feel this. In this case right here, the only thing that they're doing is they're getting that receiver to come into jet sweep, and they're going to toss him the football. Look at the edge that it creates here. They're going to have a really good edge, and they have a receiver out here blocking on the perimeter. It also gives them the ability to now use the running back where they can fake a jet sweep. Here they're selling like a little zone action afterwards, but you can bet on it. There will be something that will look like a jet sweep, and it's going to end up being a quarterback design run to this side of the field, which what it could be, they can sell what's going to look like a jet sweep, and then they can go and run a QB counter with a lead blocker. I guarantee that's something they got in their system. But based off of this, they're utilizing a formation that allows them, they're going to cover somebody up. He now gets to be off the ball, and they get to use him on the jet sweep. It's all based off of the formation and what they can do now by getting a player off the ball, able to be in motion. All right, I want to use this clip to talk about Arkansas's run game and their offensive line. All right, their offensive line, they have two guys on the O-line that I believe have both started around or a little bit more than 30 games. They're their seasoned veterans. Outside of that, I want to say the other three offensive linemen, I want to say all three of them have had their first few starts just this season alone. So they're a little bit young outside of those seasoned interior linemen. I want to show in this run game here, they do a pretty good job. I know this run play as duo. And what duo is they're going to get double teams. They're going to get double teams here. They're going to get double teams here. Your individual blocks are going to be here. And then what you're hoping to do is you're hoping to work off those double teams to get to these backers. All right. So it's interior double teams. And on the edges, you're going to get those singled up blocks. But I want us to kind of show this. They do a pretty dang good job here, right? the way that they impact this double team, the way they pushed it down and climb up to this backer, they do a really good job here. Opens up a good hole. You can see this right here. This is what you're looking for. They've sealed everything off. They've got the double teams. Look at all these hats getting on a hat. Now, because, I'm going to back up just a little bit. Because this player, sorry, I went the other way. Because this player here took this inside step, he's just going to push him down, right? But you can see right here, this is a solid job. Everybody here had on a hat, had it getting on a hat. They've sealed all of this off. The double team worked up just like they want to. This double team hasn't got to get up there. But look, this guy is going to get caught inside of all of this, and he's not going to be able to get there. And then out here, you got hat on a hat, hat on a hat. This is impressive. This is a really good job. And what does it do? Frees up space for this running back. And the guy that's got to make the tackle here is a secondary player. That's everything that you're hoping to do right there. They do a good job of getting on their blocks. Now, is there a little bit of a hold right here? Yep, there is. But there always is a little bit of holding like that. He's grabbing the jersey. Absolutely. But they do a good job. They show that they can get to the point of attack like they want to. They show that they can sustain blocks. This is what we're up against this Saturday. A running team that you can bet on it. Runs a lot in practice. They pride themselves on their run game. They pride themselves on their ability to not only run with the running backs and receivers, but their quarterback as well. And so even though we're facing some young offensive linemen, right, they know what they're doing. We hope that, of course, yes, there's plays in this game that they get stuffed for losses. There's a lot of plays in this game that the youth in their offensive line, it shows up. They make mistakes. But like any young offensive lineman, there's probably some reasons that they're out there on the field, because when they get it right, they have the ability and the potential to do it good. And so that's what we're up against this Saturday. All right, I'm choosing another run play here from Arkansas's offense. Like I said, since they are a running team, we're going to see a lot of this. What this is a little play side guard and center counter play. So what they're doing is they're going to block down. They're going to block down. We're going to pull the play side guard and the play side center. Now, they do a really good job here. Kent State brings a corner pressure. That means that's going to be the guy that you got to kick out, because this defensive end is going to go inside. That's going to be the guy that they kick out. So you'll see the guard pull. He kicks out. Center's going to turn up for somebody. Now, there are reasons why this play goes so well, right? But they do a good job. They down block it. Here's the pullers. You can see that he's going to kick out here on the corner. He's going to turn up. Okay, so now why does this play go like it does? This player's eyes are running over the top. This is your safety running over the top, and he's got to play this coverage because they brought the corner, right? So his eyes are on the wide receiver. That makes his job a little bit easier. And then what they do is this guy that fills here on the pull on the guy that pulls to get up in the lane to block the backer, he takes the wrong angle. Because he has a freed up backer inside of him, he should take on the pullers outside. By taking on the pullers outside, it's going to force that running back to go back inside, where he's going to have help because they didn't get up to the backer. But he takes the block on wrong. He takes the block on the inside. Now you see how right there, that gets that guy stuck on the inside. Out the gate, hat on a hat. Their receivers know how to block. They do it all the time. That's why this play is able to go so well. So again, what we're going to see these counters. This is a little bit unique. You don't see this all the time, where they're going to go down with the tight end, down with the tackle, play side guard, and center. A little bit of unique counter you don't see all the time, but I'm sure they have lots of variations of it. Okay, in this game, Arkansas had a bit of a hard time getting their pass game going. And because of that, they kind of tried to squeeze some balls into some tight windows, force some balls downfield. In this one right here, this worked for them. Now, they're getting a coverage that's a little bit of an inverted, it's called an inverted Tampa 2. So what that basically is this corner becomes your half safety over here. This safety already in position as a half safety. This nickel player is going to run out, and he's going to become your cloud corner out here. What you're going to see is you're going to see a middle player that's going to go running through to the middle of the field, and you're going to see this player, number 4 for Arkansas, go screaming down the middle of the field. Now, the Mike is running down the middle to protect against throws down the middle of the field. So this is absolutely a forced throw, and the person that you're going to see running out, it's going to be this player right here from the line of scrimmage. Now, I will say this. You talk to quarterbacks in the NFL that they get this inverted look, okay? Because what they're doing here is they're bringing pressure here. This guy's got to run all the way over to this side of the field. He's got to run from the line of scrimmage for depth. I know quarterbacks that say, if there's any linebacker that's up here, and I know that he has to run out to try to protect any vertical route, I am going to take that throw. So it's not uncommon for this throw to be taken, but it is not exactly like it's screaming wide open either. You can see that they push the ball downfield to a very, very covered player. A very covered player. The reality is, if he sees the safety bend here correctly, look how tight this safety is and how much he moved. This is where you could, knowing this guy is running to the middle of the field, try to manipulate that player and take this hole out here. Because as you can see, their defender is hanging shallow here. It's not because of pressure that he had to get rid of this football. Four-man rush, he steps up. That would be where a veteran quarterback could give a little head nod, a little shoulder shrug the shoulder, and then he's going to launch that ball out there to the honey hole. But nonetheless, he throws this ball. It's absolutely somewhat forced, but heck of a play by this guy. This receiver right here, number 4, he made a number of contested catches. Early in the game, like I said, Arkansas was having a hard time getting their pass game going. At one point in time, they had only completed a couple third down throws. They really only had, I think, at one point in the second quarter, only about like 70 yards passing. So they were struggling to get their pass game going. But they make this throw, they get this big throw, which then a few plays later, they get a touchdown on kind of another, like, not your ordinary touchdown play. But here, tight coverage, balls thrown into tight windows, but a play was made. All right, this is where on our end at BYU, when we do have guys in tight coverage like this, a play's got to be made. And if we have a quarterback that's going to force a throw into this Tampa 2 look, which is basically being guarded as good as you can guard it, that's where we got to make them pay as well. Because when you take chances like this, we can't have them being the ones that make the play here. It was an exceptional play by this receiver. He did a really good job throughout the game for him. But this is where on BYU's end, they need to be the one making the play, not allowing Arkansas to make this play for a big first down. All right, I want to talk about this running play. They're down here on the 5-yard line. You can bet we're going to see something similar to this. They're going to use a little jet sweep action. What they're doing is they are working front side zone. They are working a front side zone run. They're going to leave this player, and this guy that was on the little jet sweep action, he's going to turn up and he's going to block him. Now what they're going to do is they're going to arc release this guy, and he's going to go seal block this backer, right? And the reason is because this is a read on the quarterback's part. This is going to be a read. As the running back runs his little wrap inside zone, the quarterback is going to read this player right here. He's reading him. If he dives down, then the quarterback knows that this guy on the little jet is going to pin him down. Quarterback's going to keep the ball, and he's going to follow this block right there. If he decides that this player gets upfield, then what he's going to do is he's going to give the run. And when I talk about the run, I want to talk about what Arkansas does well here. Again, on their zone runs, these guys get a hat on a hat and they get off the ball. You look at this, hat on a hat, they get off the ball. They get a pretty good little seal here. This is going to be the guy that's going to have to make the tackle. But I bring this play up because you can bet with the abilities of this quarterback, they're going to use these similar things against us this Saturday. It's going to be inside zone. He's going to be reading that end. And had he decided to pull it, you can see the player that had the arc block is going to get up here. Look at this. They do a good job. They seal everybody off here. It's a cutback. This is not made to be a cutback, but he can cut back. What they're doing is they're trying to run to cut off. The running back is going to start on his zone track. And then if it's sealed off, he'll absolutely cut back, which is what he does here. But it's all set up for this little two-way read for the quarterback right here. With his abilities, we are absolutely going to see some of these plays where it's going to be an inside run, and then they're going to have blockers that are going to be set up on the edges so that if their quarterback wants to, he can keep off that edge as well. This is where it's really important for defensively that you have guys in the right position, understanding who's accounting for who. Okay, we broke this pin and pull play down earlier where they're going to pin the end, and it was with a toss. Here they're going to do it with the quarterback. So we're going to get a pin, we're going to get down, he's going to come around, But now instead of it being a toss, you're going to get a running back lead here, and it's going to be a QB sweep on a pin and pull. All right, similar thing they do where they can toss it to the running back. Here you see the tackle getting out on the edge. You see the running back leading, and now this is a just QB sweep. They're going to use this because of their guy. Again, notice how these guys are running, getting on blocks, running, getting on blocks. They're on the block. This tackle's going to get on a block. Running football team, they're going to do everything they can. You know, they rep the heck out of all of this. And they got a guy that when it comes down to it, they want to put the ball in number one's hands on critical situations. It's a 3rd and 5. Later in the game, they go to him on a 4th and 1. They like to choose him, his size, his speed, athleticism, and let's get blockers out on the edge to let number one do his thing and run. Okay, I want to break down this running play because you can bet that we're going to see some of this. What this is this basically is a counter action. So they're going to bring the fly sweep, and I'll show you this counter action. He's going to arc up to this player. They're going to get their down blocks here, and then you're going to get this counter action. He's going to pull to be the kick out, and then he's going to pull to be the insert. And then what you have is you have this inside run, and the quarterback is going to be reading this end right here. Let me put it in a different color. He's going to be reading this end player right here. If he crashes down, the quarterback's going to keep it and get out here. If he gets upfield, he can then give the ball to the running back who will carry out the counter. Now, as we play out the tape, this is what is important to see. Here comes the counter. Arkansas does a good job of getting their down blocks. They arc up to this guy. Everything is set up good. Now, this is the key on defense, what you have to have. You have to have one person for the back and another person for the quarterback. Have to. And you got to be disciplined. So here, you can tell this player is committing to the running back because he knows he has this player for the quarterback, right? If there's certain games or twists that are happening inside, or they're bringing blitzes from the other side of the field, or if it's maybe in man coverage and you're not going to have somebody there, that's when then this player has to play things differently. He should know, do I have help behind me, somebody that's responsible for the quarterback, or is this on me, where then I'm going to slow play upfield, force him to hand it off, and then I attack the ball. But here, he can be aggressive and he can commit because he knows I got somebody for the quarterback. And now that person for the quarterback is in a great position. What's not accounted for is this player right here. He does a great job of butting right there, getting off of it, and making a play to the quarterback. That's not his responsibility, but he's just making a good football play. Kent State, though, they have somebody for the quarterback. This is where BYU defensively really needs to be sound in these situations, because I can guarantee you KJ Jefferson is going to be at times, he can get a little impatient and he wants to run with the football. You watch the way that he reacts after some of his plays. He wants the ball in his hands. He wants to be the one carrying it, and he wants to run some people over. He's a very, very tough runner. But in this case right here, Kent State did a great job, and this is a pattern that BYU needs to follow in the game. Okay, let's talk about what type of day we can potentially expect. You can see that into the third quarter here, they've had a bit of a tough time throwing the football. 6 of 11 for 57 yards. The touchdown was on a fumbled snap that he picked up, moved a little bit, and found a receiver in the back of the end zone. But anytime that they may be having a little bit of trouble throwing the football, you know who they're going to turn to, right? They're going to turn to their quarterback running. Here, what they're going to do is they're going to utilize a little fly sweep action. Any type of movement that can get is going to help all these blocks. Basically, what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to get these edge blocks. They're going to try to get these edge blocks here, and then they're going to pull this guard, and he's going to come around. So the guard's not actually, these blocks are going to look like this. Here, this guard's going to pull around here, and then we're going to get a lead blocker. And all he's going to get is a little flash fake, and it is basically just QB lead. We got an outside running play with a guard puller. The toughest blocks on the field, probably the toughest one is going to be here, this backside guard having to get into that A-gap player who, if he comes hard, that can be really tricky.
this center is going to work up to this backer and he's going to jump inside on the backside. But so much of this is going to be held because of this fly sweep action. That's why this is the unblocked player right here. This guy, he's the unblocked player. And what he's going to be held by is that fly sweep. So as you see it play out, there you can see the center's going to work up there. That's the hardest block, cutting off that A gap. He's going to work there. You're going to get down, down. He's going to pull really tight around to right there. And then you got lead blocker. And it's basically just a QB lead on the outside. Now, this right here, if he overruns him and he pushes him out, that's a win. He basically blocked him. That quarterback can cut back, right? We talk about like sustaining blocks. I know there's been some times that I've talked about our offensive linemen having to sustain blocks. You can see how sustaining a block is difficult. There, the block is lost. But we beat it, or not we, geez. He beats it with speed. He gets over there close, but not quite close enough. He gets upfield. This is the things we got to look out for. I know that if they're having a tough time in their pass game, they're going to turn to these type runs. They're going to put it in this guy's hands. He's big, he's fast, he's hard to bring down, and they want to create runs just like this when they play BYU. All right, I want to talk about another situation similar to like what I talked about before about the QB draw. Here they're not in empty. Here they're just in a standard 2x2 formation, but it's going to be very similar. What they're doing is they are setting up once again. They are going to set up. There are pass concepts out here. Pass concepts being ran, but inside now they're running a similar QB draw, but they have a back now as well in there. What's going to happen when the back is in the backfield? Now that box, instead of a 5-man box, could be a 6-man box. So what he has to look for is he's going to key one of these outside defenders. A lot of the times, this is similar to like an RPO, but instead of the quarterback putting the ball in the running back's stomach like this and then reading it out and reading this key player, what he's doing is he's saying, all right, if I'm keying this guy and I have this out route, if that player jumps the out route as I'm looking, I'm going to take off on the QB draw. It could be over here. If this player stays in the box, I'm going to throw that out route. If this player takes off as my eyes go to that receiver, then I'm going to run my QB draw. So here as I let it play out, see him peek? All he's looking for is he's looking for this guy right here. If this guy plays that 5-yard out and he stays outside of the box, I'm going to use my draw inside and I have my running back in here to lead block. So that's what's happening. He says, nope, I can't throw that out. And now he's going to take off running. You see teams do this all the time where they'll set up some type of inside run in here. This running back will go right there. He's keying this defender. He puts the ball in the running back's belly. He rides him. As he's riding, he determines, does he add or does he drop back? And if he adds, I'm going to throw the 5-yard out. If he drops back, I'm going to give it to the running back. The difference with these guys is this is the running back, the quarterback. They build, that's the RPO right there. He's looking, nope, out route's covered. I'm now going to take off. And he runs and he rumbles and he bumbles, and that's what we got to be ready for. They're constantly looking for ways to utilize their guy. Okay, I want to talk about this formation and the type of plays that we're most likely going to see out of it. This is empty. A lot of teams, when they have an athletic quarterback like KJ Jefferson, they're going to spread you out. They're going to get an empty, and they're going to always have a built-in QB draw in a lot of these situations. So what they're going to do is they're going to spread the field, especially if you play a shell coverage and you walk these outside backers out over that 3-receiver side or 2-receiver side. What that does is that leaves a very light box, right? It leaves you with 5 players in the box. We have 5 offensive linemen here, 5 players in the box. We should be able to block a hat for a hat. Now that quarterback draw can be deadly. So what they're doing here is Arkansas is actually running a little combo type thing. What they do is they have a go route on the outside and a quick out route. They have a stick concept down here. The receiver that you can't see that's out of the screen is on a go route. What those are built in for is any type of pressure look. If the quarterback knows he's getting zone pressure, which that would mean if I get like a safety rotation this way and then they bring pressure off of an edge and they zone drop a guy, I want to throw into that pressure. To a side of the field, if I draw a line down right here, I'm going to be hot to this side of the field. They're bringing one more than I can handle. So what I want to do is I want to throw into the pressure. I'll use that flat route or that stick route, and I'll throw over there. That's why those routes are built in. If they drop out and they play zone coverage to it and they only have 5 in the box, the quarterback can take his eyes to one of the routes and then run his natural quarterback draw. Now, the unique thing that's happening here is Kent State's playing him straight up man coverage. So what they're doing is they're playing man, 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 man. Also that receiver that's down here out of the screen, and you got a free safety in the middle of the field. So technically, they should be 5 for 5, right? The box is light. Yes, that means your QB draw can be there. Okay, we can go for it. But watch what happens here. On most QB draws, there's always some type of little pull action, which means the center usually goes to the tightest shade. Whoever's like that one shade, he's going to go to the tightest shade, and then the guard is going to wrap behind him like a trap, but they're not trapping anybody. He's going to come behind him, and he's going to go up for the Mike backer. And then what the quarterback does is he's going to take a step. He peeks his eyes out here to the pass route, and then he's going to follow that pulling guard up and onto the Mike. The difference here is that they are 5 up. Let's say it was a passing play, okay? They would make what's called a 5-0 call or a bob call, big on big. And what that means, 5 for 5, we are blocking straight up. Okay, now we're good. We should be protected, and we can throw one of these passes. But they have the draw play called in here with pass plays out here. So what's the line going to do? They still block their draw. And so what happens is when this tackle steps down, when the center goes there and the guard pulls, there's nobody for that guard to pull and insert up to. So who's running free? This guy off the edge. But KJ Jefferson, I'm sure, read 5-man box. I'm going to go with the QB draw. He has an unblocked guy off the edge. That guy makes a play. If that play is not made, and if this guy rushes too high up the field and the quarterback is able to slip him, you have eyes on, eyes on, eyes on, eyes on. The only person that would have vision is this free safety. This could be a big play. In this situation, they're able to make a play. The reason I highlight it is because when we see empty, we got to always think in the back of our heads, there's a potential for a QB draw versus a light box with a very athletic running quarterback. All right, I'm going to finish with this because this is an aspect of the game that if BYU wants to win this game, they have to capitalize on. In this look, you're going to see the defense is giving what looks like they're going to bring pressure. But they don't bring pressure. They end up dropping out. They drop 8, which means they're only bringing 3 right here. If we can bring 3 and get pressure, that's a good thing. But here's where BYU has to absolutely capitalize. If you're going to drop 8 and you're going to make it difficult for them in the pass game, here it's 3rd and 11. As you can see, 3rd and long, drop 8. Let's make the window smaller. Let's make it tough. But here's what cannot happen. We can't have him wrapped up in a 3-man rush. If you can get pressure and you can have him wrapped up, this is what he does really well. He's a big guy. He's athletic. He breaks this tackle, and now he's off. Now, I know he doesn't get the first down, but when you talk about we have him sacked in our arms for a sack, he breaks it. Now he scrambles. If he scrambles with his eyes up, this is where this type of player can be deadly. Because once he starts attacking the line of scrimmage, that's when people start coming to him. Now what was drop 8 now changes in the secondary, right? And this is where guys get open. Really savvy guys are the guys that kind of break that. They understand that they can get out here and run parallel to the line of scrimmage. And if they pull people to them, it creates other people open. But this is the other part. He makes guys miss. That's 2 guys right there that with a little pump and a little move, they end up running into each other. This guy has to make that tackle. If that guy's not there to make the tackle, that might have been a first down. So BYU just needs to do a really, really good job that if we can get a rush like this and have him wrapped up, bringing 3, this needs to end up in a sack. This can do a lot of things. Arkansas's pass game really took a long time to get going in this game. They sputtered quite a bit. They had a few plays here or there, but this is, early 4th quarter, and they still haven't really got things going in the pass game. But if we want to control situations in the game, this is going to be a big part of them. Not only stopping him in the run game, but stopping him from extending plays just like this. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown of some of these Arkansas plays, highlighting the quarterback, his abilities, how they utilize him in the run game, and also some of the stuff that they're going to try to set up in our game this weekend.